And the video, and can I get a clap? Sweet, good to go.
We're good to go?
We're good to go.
All right. This is fun.
I'm so excited right now.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
So we're going to call it Bikini in the Brain.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to the very first Bikini in the Brain podcast.
OMG, podcast.
Why the bikini?
I don't know. I thought it was the P-pod for the podcast.
So in this scenario, I'm the brain, she's the bikini.
Clearly.
Go figure.
Go Bikini.
Go Bikini, yeah.
Ta-ta.
And we are doing this, actually it's a lot of people requesting us to do it. You know, they're always like, hey, why don't you guys do this?
They find us to be entertaining. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they call us the dynamic duo, so we're about to show them what we got.
Yeah, so now you're putting us to more work all the time. So yeah, it's first podcast we've done ever. So excuse it if it's rough because we just don't know really what we're doing.
Yes, I'm a rookie in this podcast game.
But so let's go into the podcast and why we're doing it, what the purposes of it is, and what your guys' role is in the actual podcast. So why don't you go ahead and talk about what you're trying to accomplish with this, Ashley, and
Sure.
like what the purpose is for you.
So I'm pretty savvy with like social media and stuff, but it seems like podcasts are the thing these days, and I see why a lot of people like to listen while they do cardio or just for that extra motivation. And I think my biggest role in any kind of like social media is I like to show people fitness can be fun. It's not as miserable as people kind of play it out to be sometimes, especially like on the higher level. I still have fun and I still enjoy what I do. I think a lot of people get that misconception that like, oh, I'm about to start prep or I'm about to start this new diet or training program. It's going to be so miserable. I want to feel like crap, and that's not the case. I think as being in the fitness industry, I see so many people kind of post a lot of boring things like, this is my food and it's just chicken and vegetables, and then a lot of people on the outside get that conception like, oh my god, they live such a miserable life.
Yeah.
I mean, they look great, but I wouldn't want to do that. And I want to show people, you know what, hey, it can be fun. It can be fun, and I'm having the time of my life. So
yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that we click so much too, because that's kind of my mantra, like in prepping people, is that you don't have to do hours and hours of cardio, you don't have to eat nothing to look this way, and everyone can look this way. With just putting out a little bit more effort than you probably are right now, So I think that's really cool. A really cool topic that to even just start is like these brutal preps that people go through, and why it's just so much over the top, like why it's not necessary.
True, and I think it's like something people brag about too. Like it was so rough, and I overcame so much to which is great, and it's motivating at times. But at the same time, it's like it can kind of scare people away from our sport or fitness in general, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of like the biggest things I get from people is that they'll come to me and say, yeah, I heard my friend did a show and she was saying it ruined my body, and I did 2 hours of cardio and then I just bounced back right after that and gained a bunch of weight. And the reality is of like when you're doing these contest prep things is you have someone who's already in good shape, or they wouldn't be thinking about doing the contest.
Yeah.
They're already in good shape. So why are we going through these like drastic measures of getting them in even like when they don't need to go through this type of shape? To get to that next level, they don't need to go through 2 hours of cardio. They only need to lose probably 15 pounds, 10 pounds at that point. It doesn't require all this stuff. So keeping it fun, making it fun, I think is so important. Now, what are some of the things that have like made it fun for you, like to keep it fun?
All the opportunities that came from where I'm at, and of course I don't expect everyone to have that same experience in the same road, but I even remember as an amateur, some of the best times as an amateur just making friends backstage and kind of like, seeing how my body can transform with different types of training was always so intriguing to me. And I guess the best feeling is just like literally watching day by day like improvements, and just it's so amazing to see what the human body is capable of, and hard work pays off as well.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
important to, I think, enjoy the journey, all aspects of it. And I think a lot of people get too caught up on a final placement number. They come into a show thinking, oh yeah, I want to win first so bad. That's my goal. And I think that's like the wrong way to look at things, because if you don't achieve that goal, then it's like a disappointment and it's discouraging. Whereas I think we should just focus like literally on the entire journey, and that sounds so cliche, but just enjoy every part of it, like from the start of prep to waking up in the morning early to do cardio. Believe it or not, you'll enjoy it eventually. I know I do. You know, and even show day. People get very nervous, which is okay, but you know, don't forget to make friends, take pictures, enjoy the moment, enjoy your cheat meal after, regardless of the placing.
Yeah, I think that's honestly like one of the most important things is to enjoy the suck. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy you're going to have parts that are going to suck. That's just the way it is. It's prep. You're not eating pizza and having ice cream every day. You know, so like enjoy it. And actually, if you just set your mind frame to this is for like something bigger, then you can enjoy every meal that's, you know, broccoli and chicken or whatever it is. You can just be like, you know, this is part of it. And you just, as soon as you change your mindset to enjoying this, then it becomes not a task, and it becomes an enjoyment. And I think what people don't understand about prep, and one of the reasons I really love prep, is that when you can take prep and just take yourself out of prep for a second, just like stand back from it and say, hey, what am I really doing here? And what you're really doing is you're proving to yourself how dedicated you can be to a certain goal. And, you know, whether it's bodybuilding or something greater than that, obviously bodybuilding is like, you know, when we really think about it, it's not like this crazy thing. We're not becoming, you know, CEOs of a company or anything to get on stage at one time. But the actions that you take to get on stage is the same actions that a CEO would take to get to be a CEO, you know, because they're dedicated every single day. They wake up with the same goal in mind, to be better than they were the next day. And I think that when we have especially when we have these younger people who've never gone through something like that it molds them for success for the rest of their life. And it's so important to do it 100%. Because if you can prove you can do this 100% for 16 weeks, then you can do anything 100%, maybe for longer periods. And I think too is why you'll see a lot of guys who prep, and it's really weird. I've seen this at a lot of hardcore gyms, because it's cool. I get to travel a lot of times with you too. We get to travel, and I go to these really cool gyms. It's kind of one of my things I like doing, is going to these hardcore gyms all over the country. And one of the things I've found really common is the more hardcore the gym is, the nicer the cars are in the parking lot. And it's so crazy, you know. I'll go
never thought of that.
Yeah, I always look at it, and I'm always like, you know what? There's a lot of really nice cars in this parking lot, and then I'll see a lot of really nice physiques in the gym too. And you'll get the other side of it too, where these guys, all they do is lift and they don't do anything else. But you see these guys that are like, yeah, I own this company, and they're just the most dedicated people. And I think a lot of it just translates to being better at life in other ways too. That's why I really love prep, and that's why I want everyone to do it, you know, at least once, is if they're into fitness.
That's so true. Oh my goodness. You know, I think that's super important, because it does give you not only those kind of life lessons to work hard, but it also teaches you a lot about your body and how to eat healthy. You know, I think we all were in a phase where we were a kid, and one thing we thought is healthy, now we realize isn't, you know, like Nutri-Grain bars or something in high school. You think, oh wow, this is so good for me, it's so nutritious, and then, you know, come to find it's not really that nutritious. And these are things that you learn in prep, especially for those who aren't familiar with nutrition or training. I think it definitely teaches you a lot about your health.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually funny that you say that, because it goes into our next segue, right? Our next question is how we both got into this stuff in the first place. And mine was that exact scenario, you know. Looking at so what happened with me when I got into it was I was 11 years old, and I broke my arm, and it was a really bad break. It was a double break, and the doctor said, if you run around like you normally do, your arm can shift, and you're gonna need surgery. So my mom, she sat me on a couch for a whole summer, and then just fed me the whole summer. And so I gained, I don't know, probably not a lot of weight, probably 12, 15 pounds, something like that. But then my sister called me fat, and she's like, you're fat, you know? And I was like, oh man, I'm fat. So that started my whole thing. So for a year straight, all I did was eat salad and drink Diet Coke, because I didn't know, and my mom didn't know. You know, we're first generation in America, so they just don't have nutrition. They don't have no nutrition knowledge, you know. So I ate salad and Diet Coke for a year, because I thought, oh, diet is diet, you know, Diet Coke is diet. My mom was like, whatever he's gonna eat, he's gonna eat. And then I ate salad, because I don't think salad's healthy, which you know, very low protein, terrible diet to go on. You know, it was a salad diet, and you know, I lost the weight. But then ever since then, I was super conscious of it, and then started lifting weights shortly after that. So kind of a funny story. Then it just kind of went crazy after that with it. like I just been hyper obsessed with this stuff since I first lifted weights, which was 13 years old. Actually, I have this crazy story. I was so obsessed with this stuff that from the age of 13 till 21, I didn't miss a single day in the gym. Not one day, not even Christmas Day. And I was like so proud about it too. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna miss a day ever. You know, because it was like part of my soul to miss a day. Like I can't miss a day, no matter what happened. I'd work out at midnight if I had to. Like it was just crazy. I was super obsessed with it. And I was one of those old school bodybuilders that would like wake up at 2 a.m. to eat because we thought it was like you had to eat every 3 hours, and like it was brutal, you know. But that's what kind of got me to this level too, is me not being such a good bodybuilder. I was never like a great bodybuilder, you know. I was always super into it, but I could never be like a great bodybuilder. So I just researched, trying to make that be my edge, because I knew genetically I wasn't gonna have the edge. So I was like, I'll be smarter than everyone, and that'll be my edge. And so that's how it all started. And then 16, I started working at a nutrition store and giving out advice, and then here we are today.
Yeah,
crazy,
I know we're skipping some few steps in your journey. I know you were a collegiate hockey player, correct?
Not collegiate, but I played for the first roller hockey team for Team USA, Junior Olympics. Yeah, Junior Olympics.
Okay, so that's even more legit.
So, and then,
And then that whole model for the mainstream fitness company gym.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I should say the name.
So
people are gonna Google it.
You know what? That's so funny. They're still running those ads. They're still running those ads.
You were on like the advertisement.
Yeah, I was on. So I've signed. That's so funny. Yeah. Okay. So there's a few more things. Okay. So should I go a little deeper into it?
I mean, you can hit the main ones, like the hockey players.
Since we're podcasting, I forget. I'm used to right now, like us being in these like short videos, or like, oh hey, it has to be less than like 6 minutes on YouTube. You know, so it's like funny that now we're like podcasting. So okay, so the steps. Let's go back to the steps, right? So full journey. All right. So started off working in nutrition stores when I was 16. Actually, what a lot of people don't know about me is, so my dad he's an immigrant from, his family came from Spain and Mexico, went to Mexico, and then came from Mexico to America. And they own grocery stores in California. We actually own quite a few of them. And I was supposed to be like the guy who took over, the last Bonilla son who took over the grocery stores and that. And I left the store at 16. And at 18, they offered me, you know, they were like, if you just stay here when you're 18, we're gonna give you a 6-figure salary and we're gonna give you a Porsche if you just stay and take over the store. And I was like, no, I don't wanna do that. I like fitness. And my family was like, no, you're never gonna make any money in fitness. Like, that's why we came here, is to make money. You know, like, you're never gonna make anything in fitness. So why are you doing this? You know, the most you're gonna make is $60 an hour as a trainer. And back then, that's as much as you could make. There was no online training or anything like that. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I just wanna live this life. Like, I wanna be in the gym all the time. I love it. And so I wasn't able to train as a trainer at 16, but I was able to work in nutrition stores. So I started working in a nutrition store for $6 an hour, and at Nutrisport nutrition store, and I started doing like programs for bodybuilders and stuff. Even back then, which was really cool. Back then, all there was bodybuilders. There wasn't anything else, and it was 1998 to date it. And so because of that, we started doing like programs for bodybuilders, and I knew that I had to be smarter, and so part of my bodybuilding and getting better at being such a young age was learning and researching to help bodybuilders to get to the next level, and obviously to help me get to the next level because I wasn't a very good bodybuilder. I actually didn't place in a bodybuilding contest from the very first one I entered until I actually placed was 11 years. So I was 30 years old when I won my first contest, and I didn't place I started at 19. And it was really because a lot of it was because bodybuilding. I never filled out my frame for bodybuilding, but then men's physique came around. I started doing pretty good in men's physique. But so it was like for me, it was always just learn, just get better so I can be a better bodybuilder, and then I just started helping other people out. And it was really a really cool thing. So anyway, went from nutrition store to the gym, and then at gym I was at 18 and kind of been doing that ever since. And I was in like I was a poster boy. I wasn't like, I don't know if you want to call it a model, but I was a poster boy.
Literally a poster boy.
For a major gym that's open 24 hours, I'll tell you that. You guys can do the math.
Some of them actually aren't open 24 hours. Let me just put it out there. The one by me isn't.
So, it's so funny is we did this photo shoot. They paid me like $250 for this photo shoot, like a decade ago, and I signed the release, and they've been using those pictures solid for like 10 years. It's still being, I don't know, I think it's funny. I think it's like quite a compliment actually that they still do it. But So yeah, along the way we've been kind of along the way I went to school. You know, I got my degree in basically sports management through wellness and fitness, and then we've been doing Team Elite Physiques since I started training in like 2000, and doing preps. And now
Team
we have
Elite
our own.
Physique. What is up? I happen to be wearing one of the shirts.
And I'm not, and I should be. And so now we have I think it's the world's only contest prep center, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which is we basically have everything that you can need for contest prep in there. So we do testing, we have doctors in there, we have physical therapists in there, dietitians, we have a full gym, everything that you would need. All these testing things like metabolic testing and EMG sensor training things, and just we try to take it to the next level. So that's I guess the history of things. I guess that's the history of things.
But the question I want to know is, how did you get from there to now in my apartment? Because this is my apartment, by the way. Those popsicles on the wallpaper, that's mine. So don't think that Adam decorated this. I don't want you to take credit for the decoration.
I like the decorations in here. It's awesome. So that's actually a really funny story too, right? Because that is part of the story. So
yes.
Honestly, yeah. So this is cool. It's actually something like very close to my heart. Ashley is, and I know like, and this is not an insult to anyone else I train. I just don't. I feel like this is a once in a lifetime thing. I don't see, like, I don't know. It's just so special. I think it's a once in a lifetime thing, and
I need to get the tissues. Beautiful.
And I enjoy every moment of it, and even when it's hard work, because sometimes it's a lot of like travel and this, and I'm managing my other work here and things like that. But it's like I always like appreciate it. I'm always like, this is the time of my life. In training, this is the time of my life, and I just love it. But so how I met with Ashley was funny. Is I reached out after she won her first Olympia. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I want to do a posing seminar with you. And I reached out to JM, who's an awesome guy. If you're listening, JM, I love you. He set it up where we had her come down to the gym. That was our first time we met, and we went through one session that day. And then throughout the years, like every time I was in LA or whatever, I'd be like, hey, I wonder if Ashley's around. I mean, we trained a few times, we'd connect a few times here and there.
I want to give my like point of view once ever you get to the point. You know which point I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after she took like a break, I reached out to her, and I'll let you take over from
Yes, because this is where it gets freaky, and I have to tell you guys because it's like one of those freaky moments that was like meant to be. So I was discussing with my friend in her hotel room. I think I'm going to be coming back soon. I think I'm feeling like good energy from being at her show. I was getting kind of motivated, and I was like, I think it's time. And I was literally discussing with her an hour previous before I got his email, like, I wonder who my coach should be. Like, I was going through my mind, I'm like, who would make a great coach? Adam. I haven't talked to him in like a year or whatever, but he's such a great guy. Like, he's super smart. He seems to be very attentive, and like, he really knows his stuff in the industry too. So I was like, I wonder if I should hire him like as a coach. But that's when you sent me the email, and then I was like freaking out. I was like, yo, he just emailed me, because I didn't tell anybody but my friend that I was even thinking about coming back. So it was like one of those freaky moments, like gave me goosebumps, like, whoa. It's like one of those things they say, you put it in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the universe gives it back. It was like one of those, okay, no doubt in my mind, that's gonna be my coach for the year. So that's how we got to this point. I think, ever since that, it was kind of like a great connection. We work very well together. You're a great trainer. I'm always super motivated when you're here, and I'm obviously motivated when I go to Denver too, because I'm out there a lot, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
Always get the best workouts. Always.
Yeah, so it's been quite the journey. It's been cool. It started off with us being like, we were already friends, but it wasn't like this. And it was like she'd come out, and I got her like a hotel the first time she came out, and then it was like we just were spending so much time together. I was like, you should just like stay at my house. I got an extra room. And then now it's like we just stay at each other's places all the time. I'm here for like 3 days. She's at my house for like a week or so. It's like we have a room, we call it Ashley's room, and I actually no one else. I have a full basement. That's like, it's like basically like an apartment, and everyone stays in the apartment because it's Ashley's room. So like my mom's coming out the 24th, but she doesn't stay in Ashley's room. She stays in like my apartment. It's so funny because it's like, no, that's not your room. It's Ashley's room. so funny.
I love it. Goodness. Yeah, great times, man.
So actually, let's go into. I mean, there's a couple of things we're gonna have to go into. One is gonna be accolades.
Oh,
Let's go into how you got into this.
Yes.
Stuff. And of course your accolades too.
The accolades and how I got into fitness. Okay, so basically my story is, well, ever since I was very young, in grade school, I was always super competitive. I was a gymnast. My parents enrolled me into gymnastics probably from the age of 4, I want to say. But I always had this super competitive drive. My thing was like gym class. I loved it so much. I always wanted to like beat the boys in the little tests they give, like chin-ups, push-ups, sprints, everything.
I'm going to cut you off right there. This is the thing she does. She actually beat me. And if you're not watching this video, this is the tattoo I have forever because she beat me in pull-ups. You can go ahead and go off from there.
Some might not call those pull-ups. That's for you to decide. I just always wanted to beat somebody. I just want to be the best, always, in those little records. And then I found track in high school, and I focused on track more in high school than gymnastics. I eventually let gymnastics go before I hit high school. And I earned a scholarship to a Division I college where I continued my track career, and kind of lost my passion for track a little bit. It wasn't as fun as it was in high school. By the way, I ran the 400-meter hurdles in college, so kind of like a sucky race, to be honest. It's one of those races, the lactic acid buildup races. I haven't experienced the lactic acid buildup feeling like I would in track in a while, so I can't. Yeah, it's just a horrible feeling. You always want to throw up. But anyway. Yeah, I just didn't enjoy it as much. It just became way too, it took over my life too much, the practices and the meets on the weekend, and I just couldn't handle it. But with that aside, after track was over in college, I felt so lost. I was a bartender for a couple months between then, and I was just like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my life? I just feel so, what am I waking up for? What am I training for? Nothing. So with that being said, it wasn't long till I discovered NPC Bikini, and I saw my former high school track coach. She competed in figure, and I kind of followed her on Facebook throughout the years. And I was just like, what is this sport that she's doing? And then I discovered the bikini division side of it, and I was like, that's definitely way more fitting for my body type than figure was. So I went to the gym and trained with her and discovered, wow, this is a pretty cool sport. I want to give it a go, So I tried this sport and I absolutely loved it. My first competition was the Arnold Classic 2011, and I was just so clueless. I only did the show because, it was a big show. It was so exciting because I'm from Ohio, and that's the thing to do in Ohio if you're a fitness enthusiast. So I did that one as my first show, and yeah, like I said, I was clueless. I mean, my physique was good, but hair, makeup, tanning, my tanning, oh my god, I just did the salon tan. My suit was just from Target. What was I thinking? My hair was bleach blonde. I don't know, don't ask. I thought it looked good at the time, but I was just so clueless. But I got 14th at that show, which was, probably a little bit above average in the placings. And I went home, I studied everything I needed to fix my package, my overall package. So that means tanning, hair, posing, blah, blah, blah. And eventually worked on those things. I won a few amateur shows, and then I competed at the Arnold Classic 2012, which was exactly 1 year from the first show I've done. And I competed there with my green suit, my emerald green suit, my dark brown hair. I was put together, I posed correctly, I knew what I was doing because I researched, finally, and wow, I won overall. So that was pretty incredible to do such a big transformation just from that. And most of the transformation wasn't body, it was everything else. So after that, that was the first big show I won. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And just things really started picking up. In fact, I actually didn't get my pro card at the Arnold Classic 2012. Even though I won overall.
Yeah,
it's funny because
you should go into that.
Yeah, because it was back in the day where you had to petition for a pro card if you were foreign. Now it's set up differently. But me being American, I couldn't get my pro card there, but the foreigners did because they were able to petition and get it from their country, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was funny because it was like, oh, these girls that I beat went pro before me. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to complain too much because eventually I got my pro card at the Team Universe that year. And then things just really started picking up for me. And I won the Olympia in 2012 as a rookie. I felt like freaking Cinderella, man.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like,
no one saw that coming.
I didn't see it coming. See, here's the thing about me, and you know this. I'm such a realistic goal setter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people might mistake this for being a pessimist, which isn't a pessimist. I just take like into consideration like facts, numbers, you know, things like that. So going into that show, I was literally happy just to be there on the stage with all these amazing girls that I looked up to. I was like, oh my God, is that Amanda Latour? Oh my God. I'm standing on stage over there. Oh my God. You know, I was like fangirling hard just to be there. And then I said to myself before I walked on stage that day, I was like, man, if I got top 10, oh my God, what if I got top 10? That would be crazy. I would be the happiest girl ever. And that was my exact thought process going in there, literally. And then as it turns out, after prejudging, I got first call out. And I was like, what? There's 3 girls in the first call out, and I'm one of them. I think they're playing a trick on us. Like, maybe they're trying something different with the call outs. That's what I thought. So I was like, there's no way.
So you didn't think you were top 3?
No, I literally thought they were, you know, trying something new. Like, let's just, you know, put it in reverse order. Let's put it in reverse order this year or something like that. And it wasn't until it hit me that I was going to be top 3. Like, once they started calling, you know how they do the top 6 at the Olympia or any big show, they'll do 6, 5, 4. And then I saw, okay, there was second call out and they're getting 6, 5, and then they did 3, and I was like, wait a minute, 3. I was in this call out with this girl that got 3. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this for real? And then they did 2, and I'm like, wait a second. No way. And then they called me as first, and I started crying. I'm still getting goosebumps.
Honestly, it gave me goosebumps.
I got goosebumps.
Like I should have when you said that. It gave me goosebumps.
Because it was so unexpected, and not that I doubted myself. I'm just realistic.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one thing to meet your goal, but to exceed your goal, it's way better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've always had such a realistic take on my goals. And I think it's important too. And wow, as it turns out, I repeated in 2014 and 15. And, you know, at this time, I basically didn't have to work at the bar anymore. After my first Olympia win, I started getting great opportunities from sponsorships, endorsements, traveling opportunities to do seminars and compete. It was just like all happening for me. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, I was able to make a career of what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a rare thing, but it's all how you market it as well. You know what I'm saying? To make a career as a competitor, because there's much more to me than just a competitor. But it's all within the fitness realm.
Yeah. And I think just so you guys who are like maybe don't understand the sport of this stuff, because I mean, we get a lot of viewers that are just getting into it and whatnot too. Okay. Just so you guys know, winning the Olympia title is being the #1 person in the world. And so Ashley has won it 3 times and is actually, she won't say these things, but I will. She has 19 pro wins. She is the most winning bikini pro in the history of the sport. So there's not anyone with more wins than her, and there's nobody as of right now that has as many Olympia titles as she has. So she's the only one with 3 or more right now. So it's you know, who knows, that could be a record that stays forever. Who knows, you know? But right now she is the Arnold Schwarzenegger most winning of bikini, right? if you want to compare it to anything. So it's a pretty big deal. So you know, every time, like, it's weird, we're such good friends. That's just like, oh, it's just Ashley, you know, type of thing now. But it's like sometimes I sit back and I'm like, man, it's so crazy that she's so accomplished in this, and like we get to do these things together, you know. So it's cool. It's cool to, do you sit back ever and like?
I'm like, wow, I'm very lucky and blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely took the right moves in the career, but you know, just I'm thinking if I didn't win like my first Olympia like that, I probably wouldn't have had these great opportunities or even had the chance to meet you, only just because everything fell